years ago, when a game is really great and you get into the late fall and the early winter, it's a soup game, soup and sweater game. So you put on the sweater. The house was cold last night. Our house was cold. And you get a big bowl of soup. I had a big bowl of soup last night.
What kind of soup?
It was kind of a pasta soup. It was so good.
Nice. Minestrone. Really good.
Oh, it was so good. And,
Pasta fagioli.
and so here we go. So I rate the games best on how many bowls of soup are they worth.
Okay. This is a big soup weekend. How many soups are you giving Cardinals Seahawks tonight?
This is a classic 5 bowls of soup. You cannot do better. This is 5 bowls of soup. First of all, I get the 2 most exciting quarterbacks arguably in the league. The number 1 scoring offense, Seattle. The number 1 total offense, Arizona. Murray has 29 offensive touchdowns, and Russell Wilson, 27, have accounted for the most offensive touchdowns by any players in the league tonight. And Seattle's defense is so poor that even if Seattle outplays Arizona, the Cardinals will keep it close because Seattle can't put anybody away.
How many soups are you giving Falcons at Titans?
I thought a lot about this. I wavered between 3 and 4, but I'm going to go 4. I think it's the most underrated soup game of the weekend. Jameis Winston, remember, this team, since Raheem Morris took over, is 3-1, and the Saints are on a 6-game winning streak. Now, last year, New Orleans won these games when Breeze got hurt. Jameis, remember, led the NFL in passing yards and interceptions last year, so he's wildly productive, can be mistake-prone. But this is going to change, potentially, Tom Brady's playoff road, because if New Orleans does not win and beat Atlanta and the Bucs win on Monday night, Tommy's going to get a home playoff game potentially.
Sorry, it's Falcons Saints. I'm Ron Burgundy. How many soups are you giving Patriots Texans?
Borderline 1, I give it only 2 because Cam Newton makes it 2 bowls. And by the way, not full bowls. Half a bowl. Almost makes 1 bowl. The Texans are 2-0 against the Jaguars, 0-7 against everybody else. But the AFC East has gone from terrible to kind of interesting. This may be the last Patriots game of the year that is interesting. But coming off the Ravens win, if they win again, now you have, oh, wait, defense, Cam's working. Did they find their identity last weekend? So for one more weekend, a Patriots game is 2 bowls of soup.
How many soups, Eagles, Browns?
A strong 3 full bowls of soup. Okay, so when Baker Mayfield and Cleveland have to win big games, it can kind of be a clown show. And Wentz and Baker have accounted since the start of 2019 for 30 giveaways. Only Jameis Winston and Daniel Jones have more. You're going to get turnovers. You're going to get errant throws. You're going to get some attitude. But I also think you have 2 really potentially good defensive lines that can mess things up for the quarterback. I think you're going to have a lot of mistakes here, and I like Philadelphia to win.
How about Titans-Ravens? How many soups?
This is 3 boring bowls of soup. It'll be like just if you had broth. But it's worth, because the teams are good, it deserves 3 bowls of soup. There's no flavor to this soup. It is like that high school soup.
It's like pea soup.
Yeah, so it's a rematch of the playoffs last year. Number 1 scoring defense, Ravens. Number 2 rushing offense, Ravens. A lot of running the ball. Here's the thing. Please consume your soup quickly because these teams run the ball and the game will be over in 2 hours and 12 minutes. So get to the soup early and finish it quickly.
How many soups for Steelers, Jags?
No soups.
No soups?
No. This is not worth soup. This is where you go out. And you know what this is? During a Sunday, you go talk to your wife, and you give her like 15 minutes, and you pretend like you really care about what she's doing, but what you're saying is, this game stinks. It's not worth soup. You're like, honey, what are you doing right now? Oh, tell me about it. And then you go back to watching games.
Mike Tomlin would disagree. He thinks this is a very serious opponent. How many soups are you giving Packers-Colts?
Went back and forth on this. Aaron Rodgers makes it 4 bowls of soup. So here's the thing, is that Aaron's a star, and I always watch Aaron games. They don't stop the run particularly well. And last week against the Titans, the Colts ran it well. Also, the Colts have some extra time to prepare. Well-coached teams usually are aided by extra time to prepare. This is also the way Minnesota is playing now. Green Bay needs to win this game because Minnesota is playing really good football. And Minnesota is going to crush the Cowboys this week, or at least beat them. So this is not a game you can take lightly. If Green Bay gets toppled here and Minnesota wins, The Packers and the Vikings have split games, so this is a way more important game for Green Bay than people think.
Chiefs, Raiders. How many soups?
On the surface, you'd be like, it's a 2-bowl of soup game. I'm going to give it 4. Here's why. There's a revenge factor, Andy Reid and a bye factor. The Raiders keep winning these games. So what you have is the classic old-school Raiders pound the football, cocky, contrarian Raiders. And Andy Reid's like, we don't drive the bus around stadiums. That's not our style. So there's a little flair outside the normal game. Remember, Chiefs have won 7 straight road games. So it's funny about the Chiefs. I've actually thought they've played a couple of games in the last couple of years really poorly at home. Whatever it is, it's a great sign for Mahomes. He's been a very good road quarterback. I like the Chiefs this weekend. And I'll say this. I've watched them play several times. Mahomes is always fun in these games. These games are always good.
Chiefs don't ride around stadiums. They ride to parades.
Boom!
How many soups are you giving Rams, Bucks?
If Goff plays well, I may be over-souping it here. I'm going to give it 5 bowls. I know I may be over-souping it. I'm going to end up with, you know what I'm going to end up with? Too much soup and not enough bread. And that's the worst. Or you have any bread left and you got bowls of soup and it's like, doesn't really work for me. No crackers left. I think it's more of a 4 because I have real concerns the Rams without left tackle Andrew Whitworth can move the ball. I have a feeling it could get ugly in this game. Remember now, here's what makes it interesting. First of all, there's a lot of stars. Aaron Donald's never sacked Tom Brady. I want to see that. The second thing is McVay's never lost a game leading at halftime, and they're 5-0 this year, Rams leading at halftime. The Bucks are 4-0 and leading at halftime. So the game will be decided at half. And my feeling is there's going to be a big play by the defense of the Buccaneers fairly early in this game. So I think the first half could be a 5-super. The second half could be a 2-super.
That's dramatic.
I know. Dramatic soup difference. The soup differential is significant in that one. So there you go. Very good weekend of games. The only 5-star for sure, I mean, really, is tonight. And I'll say this. I'm not supposed